Welcome back. So today on the deep dive, we're digging into something pretty common you see everywhere now, mobile apps promising you cash, for hardly any effort. We focused on one called CashLoot, play and win rewards. It basically says, hey, do these simple tasks and you'll make money. The tasks themselves, they call them captures, things like number capture or text capture. You do these, rack up points, and that's meant to turn into, well, actual cash. Sounds tempting, right? Like a super easy side hustle. But the big question we need to answer for you is, does that cash ever show up?
Exactly. That's the mission for this deep dive. We looked into the sources, user reviews, some technical bits to figure out if those points, actually become PayPal money. We're trying to get past just stories and see what the deal is with the earning part itself.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about those captures first. I mean, capture, it sounds almost technical, doesn't it?
It does, but the sources show it's pretty basic stuff. It looks like these tasks are really just about keeping you engaged for as long as possible, not really about producing anything valuable. Think repetitive microtasks, like maybe identifying KPTCHA images or typing short bits of text. The real goal seems twofold. Maybe collect a tiny bit of data, but mostly keep your eyes glued to the screen for the ads they show you between tasks. Mandatory ads, usually.
Huh. So if the tasks themselves aren't worth much, how do they make it seem like you could actually earn, say, $100? Because the sources we saw were pretty blunt. They basically said, there's no way you're going to do captures and earn money.
Right. And this is where you see the real business model. It's not just about showing ads. The sources suggest it's built around a grind that's almost impossible. Like you might earn points, maybe 100 points for an hour's work, something like that. But then the amount you need to actually withdraw, that minimum threshold, it's set incredibly high. You'd need like millions of points for that $100.
Wow, okay. That sounds deliberately difficult. If the tasks barely cost them anything, why make the payout so hard to reach? You'd think they'd want people to succeed eventually.
Well, the sources imply the intent isn't really for you to succeed in getting paid. It's more like deception. The developers make their money because you, the user, might spend weeks, maybe months, trying to hit that target. And all that time, you're watching thousands of ads. They get their revenue before you likely give up or before you hit the next problem, which is the cash out actually failing. That seems to be the final step.
Yeah, this is where it goes from just being maybe mathematically impossible to, well, something else. We found this really specific user review. It nails this exact point. This person actually did it. They put in the time, got past that crazy grind, and they reached the minimum, $100. So they go withdraw it. They even mentioned, okay, there's a $1 fee, so they expected $99. Fine. But nothing happened. The user literally said the money just stood there a penny ever since I withdraw. Just froze. That $99 never arrived. Just vanished, basically.
And that brings up accountability, right? Or maybe the total lack of it. Something reviewers pointed out is if you look on the Play Store, the developers, they're silent. They aren't responding to these complaints, not defending themselves against these really specific claims about money getting stuck. That silence, it kind of speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Wow.
So yeah, putting it all together, the verdict from the sources is pretty clear. If you're downloading CashLoot hoping to get money via PayPal or something similar, it's described as a scam.
Right. So for you listening, what's the takeaway here? It really boils down to adjusting your expectations.
Completely. The sources do kind of suggest maybe that it can be a fun game for some people, if you just like that kind of repetitive task, the grind itself. But if money is your goal, your reason for downloading, the advice is pretty stark. Probably don't bother.
And that leads to maybe a final thought here. We've got this app, right? It's apparently pretty good at keeping people clicking, doing these simple, maybe even addictive tasks. But it completely fails on the promise that got people there in the first place, the money. So it makes you wonder, doesn't it? How should we really evaluate these kinds of apps when the engagement is built entirely on a financial promise that, well, turns out to be false? Something to think about.